So I've heard nonsense that this was a setup. Let me tell you what the setup was. There was a beautiful signing room next door to the Oval Office, and then a beautiful lunch set up. We expected this to be a love fest. Really, it was just a love fest. But what happened is President Zelensky came in, and all he asked for was no concessions, security guarantees, reparations from Russia of $300 billion. Give up no land, get them off our land. And he kept going 40 minutes before the cameras were in, and 45 minutes once the cameras came in. Endlessly, relentlessly. Our president says peace. He says no ceasefire. Our president says peace. He says reparations.
Well, he says he wants
It
security
keeps going.
with a ceasefire, but
security, right? But think about it. He's at war with Russia. If we sign a piece of paper with security guarantees, then I guess we're at war with Russia, and the president says, you're just messing with World War III. Stop it. Let's just talk peace. Be a peacemaker. And he kept saying no. And it shocked us. I tell you what, it was shocking.
You said it was shocking. We saw it in the camera, but after what happened, you said you were shocking. What was the reaction from the president? Bring us in there.
Well, he couldn't believe that this is the way it devolved. I mean, why would the guy come for a signing ceremony and basically just reject everything and saying, I'm not here for peace, when he knows President Trump has said I'm the peacemaker? So we were just
Zelensky to resign?
We were just shocked at the whole thing. No, the president wants peace. He wants to have Zelensky say, I want peace. He wrote a tweet right after and that said, you can come back when you are ready for peace. And that's what he wants. He
doesn't want him to resign, to be clear.
No, he's not weighing into Ukrainian politics. What he wants is to be a peacemaker. He wants to mediate. He wants to negotiate.
Withhold aid, because I read in the New York Times, I believe will be there. There's going to be a meeting about what to do and how to respond.
Well, I think the president's going to exactly consider what to do and how to respond. He's going to figure out what are the tools that he can use on Russia and what are the tools he can use on Ukraine to get them to the table. Like any great mediator, he's going to beat both sides down to get them to the table. And so, yeah, he said it at the meeting. He said, what do you want me to do? Say, call Putin a terrorist and then call him up and say, hey, I'd like you at the peace table? Come on, he's got to beat both sides.
Does he actually think he's a terrorist, but he's outwardly not saying that because he knows that won't help with negotiations?
We've given $300 billion to Ukraine. Is it difficult to see what side we're on? Give me a break. I mean, this concept of people getting confused is absurd. The president is on Ukraine's side, and he said it. He said, I'll give them more military aid. He said it, but he said he'll do it if he can get to peace, and he needs peace, and he needs President Zelensky to say, I want peace, and he wants Putin to say, I want peace, and then the president will bring them together, and you'll see the greatest peacemaker because he knows you got to hit both sides in order to get to the middle.
Mr. Secretary, one quick point, though. You were there in the Oval Office watching all of it unfold. Didn't you see the Vice President, J.D. Vance, begin the angry exchange with his tough words about Zelensky, and that was in front of all the TV cameras?
I mean, what he said was, we knew Zelensky would put on a show for the press, right? Because he wants to look good at home, look strong and all the rest. But we figured it's got to end after 10 minutes. It didn't end after 20 or 30 or 45 minutes. And what did J.D. Vance say? Please say thank you, and let's not litigate this disagreement out here in front of these cameras. Let's go back and talk about it then, but at least say thank you to the president. If you think that is attacking President Zelensky, then you were in a different room than I was in, because I thought that was reasonable and appropriate for him to just say, thank you for $300 billion. Thank you for being on my side. I want peace. I'll be with you, President Trump. Let's go figure out how we can do it together with power, and let's use this mineral deals to show that the United States is behind Ukraine, and let's go force Russia into a reasonable peace deal. That's what J.D. Vance was trying to do. That's what President Trump was trying to do. That's what all of us expected, and we had no idea he was going to be not a peacemaker.
Zelensky has thanked the U.S. many times, maybe not in that moment directly to Trump, but was it planned that J.D. Vance would be the one to interject if he continued, in your all's view, to play to the cameras? Because it is unusual for a vice president to interject like that. Was that sort of discussed before the meeting?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
We had no idea this was going to go this way. You would just assume he'd play a little bit for the cameras, right? And then he would be thankful for the president for the incredible aid that America has given. $300 billion. You got to say, we love America. We appreciate America. You know, we want you by our side. And if you think we should have peace, we should have peace, right? But instead he said, I want $300 billion in reparations from Russia. I want them off my land. I want all the land, really, all the land and reparations and security guarantees. The answer was, it's just way too far. That's not a peacemaker. That's a troublemaker. And that's what the president saw. And he took it for 40 minutes before and 45 minutes in front of the camera. And then it was just enough already. Enough.